answers to activity 3 in our NAM core textbook on page 155. That was about the fact that the plant also needs mineral ions. And the first question was the mineral ions of nitrogen. Nitrogen is the element, but it is absorbed in a plant as nitrates, which form salts. Good. And it's needed to make amino acids. The amino acids will build into proteins. It will also build into nucleotides, the nitrogen, and make nucleic acid. And it makes chlorophyll, and it's part of the plant hormones, like auxin, the growth hormone. The second one was the magnesium for chlorophyll, for the middle lamellae. And the middle lamellae is what connects two cells to one another. Middle lamellae. And it's also acting as enzyme activators. Then we have the phosphates for the phospholipids in the cell membranes and to form adenosine triphosphate. Interesting, phosphates not in chlorophyll because phosphates already have the F, so there's no chlorophyll form from that. Yes, we have to make little stories like that because phosphates is the only one that do not participate in the formation of chlorophyll. Did you see that? And the last one was iron. Chlorophyll, enzymes and acting as electron carriers. Where is all this mineral ions coming from? It is coming from the soil. There's no other way how a plant can absorb the very important mineral ions. Why is active transport necessary? Because there are lower concentrations in the soil of the mineral ions than the concentration of the mineral ions in the plant. Lower concentrations in soil, higher concentration in the plant. When it needs to be absorbed from a lower concentration to a higher concentration, we know from low to high, energy is needed, and that is active transport. It needs a carrier protein in order to transport mineral ions. Now, so today we are going to think about how can we show that plants use carbon dioxide in photosynthesis. And this is a complete other experiment that we are going to look at. We are going to look at plants inside water, and we are going to use hydrogen carbonate indicator. On page 35, you also have this picture with this specific colors. And at this stage, it is very important that you print out your worksheet before we can continue. You have a worksheet that looks like this. How can we show that plants use carbon dioxide during photosynthesis? And you will see it has this indicator and the range of colors. So it will be a good thing if you can print it out in color, please. When we look at the hydrogen carbonate indicator, we can see that in the middle color, and that is the color that we will find the indicator when we have it in normal atmospheric carbon dioxide, which is about 0.03% of carbon dioxide, we will see a red color. Then, because carbon dioxide dissolved in water is forming an acid, yes, hydrogen carbonate can form an acid when it's dissolving in water, H2CO3. It will become orange and a bright orange, and then it will be yellow. And as the color change from red, orange, orange, bright orange, or almost yellow and yellow, we have an increase in carbon dioxide. So when we are in an aqueous or aquatic, that means a water system, and the carbon dioxide decrease, it will change red, pink, magenta, and purple. That is the colors. So, can you now think of a process that can make sure that carbon dioxide increase in a system? What process do you know that helps carbon dioxide to increase in a system? It is respiration, né? Because during respiration, carbon dioxide is produced. And when carbon dioxide is produced, it means it is increasing, and we will change from red to yellow. Which process will decrease the amount of carbon dioxide? And that will be photosynthesis. Because photosynthesis uses carbon dioxide. Does that make sense to you? Okay. Now, photosynthesis, is it taking place during the day or during the night? During the day, because it consists out of a phase, the light-dependent phase. And the light-dependent phase is the phase where the plant absorbs light energy, change it to chemical energy. The light needs to shine for photosynthesis to take place. And that is what I want you to keep in mind. So, now we are going to take 4 containers, transparent containers. And what do you think is the reason for transparent? Because we want light to penetrate through the containers. Remember, we are going to look at another experiment to show that photosynthesis uses carbon dioxide. Rinse the container with a small amount of indicator. Add a standard volume of indicator to each container. Each container must have the same amount of indicator. And in 3 of the containers, place equal sprigs of pondweed. For example, K-bomba, but any type of pondweed will do. Seal all the containers. Place 1 with pondweed into a dark cupboard. So when I have a dark cupboard, it means I have no light present. You agree? That is why I put it in the dark cupboard. Take another containing pondweed and cover it with shading. The shading means less light than in full sunlight. Place the 3 remaining containers, including the one with no plant in, the same distance from bright white light source, and leave it until there is a noticeable change in color. Make sure, precautions, make sure the lamp will not cause your pondweed to overheat. Oh, if we have an overheating of our pondweed, what will happen? The process of photosynthesis will stop due to the inappropriate temperature that will denature the enzymes. What is the function of enzymes? To catalyze the metabolic processes. You might want to place a transparent screen between the light and the plant, or a flat-sided container of cold water to absorb the heat, but none of the light. When there is a noticeable change in color in the indicator, remove the shading and compare the colors in the 4 containers to those in the picture. So, now I just want to ask, do you have any idea why do we have a container with no plant in it? A container with no plant in it. That will act as a comparison if there is a change or no change if there is no plant. Now, we can compare if there is also a color change in that container. We cannot say it is the plant that is bringing the change. Perhaps it's the availability of light without the plant. And then we cannot say it is photosynthesis that is using the carbon dioxide. Do you realize that? Good. Now, green plants and algae use up carbon dioxide. So, it is removing the carbon dioxide from the indicator. And we call that process photosynthesis. Now, I want you to answer on your worksheet. Okay, and we're also going to get to the answers in this during this period. Yeah, we are learning. Now, what color would the indicator go if you breathe out into it? What color? So we say this is for atmospheric. To this side, increase in carbon dioxide. Now, into this side, decrease. Let's make a minus and this plus. Increase and this is a decrease. Okay. The next question. What color would the indicator go if the plant is respiring? Like breathing out is not equal to respiring. But what we know is that during respiration, carbon dioxide is the product. And when I breathe out, the carbon dioxide is, I'm getting rid of the carbon dioxide. Now, please remember, respiring is the process where energy is released into the body and carbon dioxide is the product. And when I breathe out, I release, I excrete the carbon dioxide. Select the 2 times of the day that this is most likely to happen. What? Where I have the rate of photosynthesis and respiration almost the same. Will it be in the night, dawn, mid-morning, lunchtime, afternoon, or dusk? Now, on your worksheet, you also have a place where you have to explain, this is the result during bright light. Why? This is the result during, there's a thin shading. So it's preventing too much light. This is the result. And what do you think will be the result if it is pitch black dark? Can you guess? Okay. And if you have guessed it will be yellow, that was a good guess. Can you explain why at this stage? Now I want you to complete your worksheet. Pause the video. Okay. Try your best. Do it in pencil if you are not sure of answers. And after you have finished, you can unpause and we can look at the answers. Good. Okay, I hope that you now feel, yes, I feel excited. I want to see, am I correct? And what is the reason? Please look at your answer and feel like a winner. Only if you have tried. And if some of your answers are good, you can feel like a champion. Okay? Let's see. What color would the indicator go if you breathed out into it? Here we have atmospheric. Oopsie daisy. There is atmospheric. So, if you say orange to yellow, that is correct. Because it will increase. Nah? That must go to that part and this one must go a bit here. So, increase in color is to this part. What color would the indicator go if the plant respire and carry out photosynthesis at the same rate? It will be red. Why? The levels are equal at the same rate. So, as the plant is absorbing carbon dioxide, it releases carbon dioxide at the same rate. Concentration will stay at atmospheric level. Select the 2 times of the day that this is most likely to happen. So I would love to first explain to you. If we think about morning, okay, if we think about morning, and then we have midday, and then we have night. Right. We will experience that photosynthesis will increase. It will reach a high point and then it will decrease, and in the night, let me do this, let me do it a better way, let me do it better. Okay, so photosynthesis will look something like this, and respiration looks like this. Respiration takes place more or less at the same rate. So, here I have a spot where it is the same rate. So, somewhere between morning and midday, I will have a time where the two rates are equal because the lines are crossing there. That means the rates are equal. Here I have time of day. And here I will have rate of reaction. Okay? You see that? So, what did you choose? I said in mid-morning because I think if I go from morning, mid-morning, lunch, dawn is when the sun rises. Mid-morning, lunch, afternoon, dusk, and night. So somewhere between lunch and night, I think is afternoon the best choice. Okay, so I will say mid-morning and afternoon. There will be a point where the rate of photosynthesis and the rate of respiration are more or less the same. Then we had the picture of bright light, and I said the rate of photosynthesis will be very high during bright light, so it will use high amounts of carbon dioxide, and I go to my scale of color and try to get the color that is mostly indicating a lack or a removal of carbon dioxide, and that will be purple. If I look at the color of the thin light, I can see it's going a slight bit to, it's almost red, and well, we cannot really argue, is it going to the yellow part or the purple side? So I said the rate of photosynthesis is slow, much slower, and it uses a small amount of carbon dioxide because there is a bit of light. So there is a small amount of carbon dioxide present, and it is reddish. And then in the dark, it is bright yellow. Carbon dioxide is being produced during the process of respiration. I know we did not yet study respiration, but in your previous grades you know about respiration. So no carbon dioxide is used for photosynthesis. So the carbon dioxide increased in that indicator, and therefore it changed to yellow. Okay. So that is our work for today. Thank you, grade 10s. No homework. We did all our work in class today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that you have learned something of how to think during an experiment. Make sure that you have all the correct answers and file it in the correct order so that you can study this again before we are being tested in a few days or so.
One Africa TV's #LearnOn1 and Hollard Life are teaming up to give lucky teachers an awesome goodie hamper. All you have to do is tell us if you'll recommend hashtag Learn on One's free, quality, supplementary lessons to your students. Simply SMS a yes or a no, including your name, the town you live in, and the school you teach at. It's that easy. Invite learning in today with hashtag Learn on One and Hollard Life. Competition closes on 16 October 2020. Standard T's and C's and SMS rates apply. For more information, visit learnonone.org.
Get uncapped internet from as little as $500 million a month. Contact us now or find us on Facebook. Whitehall, your internet service provider.
He has to listen to the information. Now, that information needs to interpret it and then convert it, and that part of the brain will then absorb the information. I think it will be a huge opportunity.
What is your true purpose, and how will I commit as a leader to continue?
When you speak about the communication and how it's being received,
how do you relate to people? I mean, those respect, love, those are the crucial things before you build the solutions.
Continuing with the limiting factors that plays a role in photosynthesis. Do you still remember what is the definition of a limiting factor? It is any condition that will cause a decrease in the rate of any reaction when that condition is in short supply. Okay, that is a limiting factor. When we look at photosynthesis, we immediately look at what is needed for photosynthesis to take place and what is needed, carbon dioxide. So, carbon dioxide concentration will be a limiting factor. If there's not enough carbon dioxide, concentrations are low, photosynthesis cannot take place. We experienced that when we were busy with our experiments, our investigation. Now, when there was no carbon dioxide, there was no starch form. And what other factors is needed for photosynthesis? Of course, light energy. Now, please don't say sunlight. Let's always talk about light intensity as the factor that will limit photosynthesis. Light intensity. And that brings us to low light intensity,